Welcome. I'm so glad that you can join me here today. 276 on what is a plasma being. Today we will be uncovering the pages 685 and 86, 2 pages, excerpts out of 850 from TheSovereignLight, named after my ministry. And this novel is a course in metaphysical spirituality. And my name is Reverend Maria Arvanitides. So nice to have you here. Your presence is honored to share in this field of resonance together. And with that said, let's begin. Let's begin today's inquiry, and some may even call it a sermon, with today's backup statement. When operating from a place where there is no such thing as space, what then? Time and distance. All mental faculties become enlightened to allow for better focus. Remote viewing is just one way of interpreting that which might be inaccessible to normal senses due to distance or time. In one sense, the demarcation to create a plasma being is a membrane sheath to hold within, and the other is to transcend by transfiguring and transmuting energy through perception. And today, this daily affirmation that can, by now, you have the ability to modify if you wish to, and just discern and leverage out what is best for you and your level of being. If any time you find something offensive, take it apart, dismantle it, see what it is that needs to actually be looked upon, and learn from it so that you may expand and your perception through perspective changes. And so, with that said, whenever you're ready, let's begin. Take a nice deep breath in and let it out. Remember that congregation in the center of the heart. This field of resonance that it creates. And breathe it in from the crown. Find that center point. And breathe it in and release it out. And as you do, at the same moment, simultaneously, from the soles of your feet, that we are connected to this Mother Earth. And Father Sky. And take it all in to reach the inner child. And have this awareness that we learn from the environment, the circumstances that we put and project onto our field to learn from, right? Like we said, these mirrors from previously. And so let's begin. Sounds good. I want to hear you say these words with me. I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. And take a nice deep breath, aware of the dual above and below. Take it in and breathe it out through your heart space center. And there's no discrimination here. If you wish to, you can also do belly breathing. So once again, let's do this. I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. Take another deep breath in. And as mentioned, anchor it into your holographic field. I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. And connecting into the universal plasma source and embodying plasma light is the key to spiritual freedom and ascending into higher consciousness states. And so, remote viewing and the state of plasma being have some relevance to the pineal gland, electromagnetics, as well as the neuroplasticity of the brain. When the mind is still, where do the thoughts go? Breathe that in for a moment. When the mind is still, where do the thoughts, our thoughts, go? One thing for certain, and after the self has reached a certain state of clearing, the emotions no longer are found trapped within its physical body. Neutrinos are electrically neutral particles, and within dark matter that vertebrae hormones that is derived from serotonin bursts out melatonin. So neutrinos, they can be found in our soil, well, naturally, until, it gets stripped away with what's been going on. It's from the galaxy, from star dust that we're made of. And so that's the mana that we feed off of the plants and the essence of the soul of the earth. And the various gases that we're no longer perhaps going to start limiting ourselves to, such things as carbon footprints. that we're going to start believing in this illusion that we must get vaccinated continuously to be part of that green movement and save the earth. The earth does not need saving. When you think about how man is like fleas on a dog, is what the earth is experiencing with humanity at this present moment and for a while now. So the earth does not need saving. But this thing of emissions and masking and putting masks on our livestock and burping and farting and all the nitrates and all the important gases that create certain light frequencies that is very important to the essence of our ecosystem, of our plants, of our trees that are actually have souls. And moving forward with this read, as I kind of been sparking more to expand on, like a pro bono kind of bonus here with this audio visual version that you can actually purchase online, this book, The Sovereign Light, A Course in Metaphysical Spirituality. And you will not get all these extras as you're getting here right now. So let's talk about these chemicals. Let's get more into the biology of this chemistry. The real thing that nature provides, that we are connected to, and that we try to disconnect from by external synthetic replications of even what we see as God, that for many generations has created conflict and war. But let's continue on and let's compress back into these details. Melatonin is a telomerase activator and found on each end of each chromatin. They're tiny little fibers compressed together in the nucleus. From darkness comes forth melatonin, and from melatonin the telomeres light up. The specific DNA proteins are what help the body become that of light, and with each telomere that acts as an antennae that when long enough bring to self this thing called intuition. So it's right on a cellular level, each and every cell. And so our senses, when we dumb it down, not through just eating, but listening, seeing, all our senses, how we numb them, how we refuse to feel, and we just dumb down. And the more we deny these feelings, we become compressed and oppressed and in denial. And this is at the basis of all disease and illnesses. Denying our senses. So when we have no intuition, we're just being led by blind faith. Eventually, this light becomes life force, awakening, and activates the third eye to open. In any case, this primordial substance of self is the spirit and plasma. Though the spirit into plasma, through the spirit into plasma being, And in between the physical self is the mental and the emotional bodies, and with it the soul. So what is the soul? So the soul, via spirit, can reflect from spirit out into the emotional energy moving field. From every thought that is activated in the neuroplasticity of the brain, it can record into the soul and then have it reflect back to the self as circumstance. You know, when we read into the Akashic records, when we read into the fourth density, the ethereal. And again, it's a circular where we kind of cut it in the diameter of the circle and we see linear time perspective. And beneath it is the soul, where it is the hidden realm, where it is after we've died and all these things that we go on talking about, and above. So it breaks it into two different worlds. And yes, for this matter, 4D, fourth density, or fourth dimensional is where we are now. And pretty much we've let technology open the door to this ethereal realm. So the purpose for today comes with the cognition of this linear kind of carbon copy self and the use of plasma in the process to help build a lighter, cleaner, radiating body. And with that said, I will leave you with today's affirmation activation statement for the day that has opened up to such a sermon. I hope that you've enjoyed yourselves in the awakening process through the listening and audiovisual of these episodes. As we continue on, thank you for joining and sharing the beautiful background of these two beautiful birds. They're just so it just brings that inner nurturer in us. What makes us happy, what makes us laugh, what makes us feel that love. And this is why I chose this background. And it's a beautiful creation. And so with that said, I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. I am that of God's source, power supply, loving and compassionate. I can project my consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously. simultaneously.